Good morning, Deb Watson here, and today we're painting a goldfinch with purple coneflower. I'm starting with the background, which will be a light spring green. Your background can be any color, and a pretty sky blue would also be a good choice. For a background without brushstrokes showing, use a big soft wash brush for most of the area, laying the water or color on pretty wet. To get close to the objects, switch to a smaller brush to give you good control. Once the paper is wet, I'm adding the light green. And it looks dark enough now, but you can always add more color later if it dries too light. If any of your color went over the lines, once it dries, use a damp brush to re-wet the area, rub it gently, and then dab up the paint with a paper towel. Next, paint the coneflower centers with a range of colors from yellow to orange or brown to black around the bottom. The light is coming from the top left, so I'm leaving a white highlight from that direction. You can play with the centers as much as you like, or even sprinkle them with table salt while they're still wet for more texture. I just paint on the color and then use a damp brush to soften and blend. They're fun to paint. After they dry, you can add a few dots of darker colors or lighter colors. The petals on my coneflower will be a purple-pink color. I'm using quinacridone magenta. Make sure your paint is fairly thick and well saturated. Wet each petal with clean water. You can do every other petal if the sides are touching. Paint the thick pink at the top and let it bleed out. What you want is the petals dark near the top and almost white near the bottom. That gives you a dramatic look. Once the petals have dried, I can paint the other ones. At the bottom is a flower that's just opening, and the petals are all sticking up. Now after they're dry, you can add a thin shadow line on the right side or bottom, and we'll add more lines in the petals at the end. The stem is mostly green with some pink at the top. If you can keep it light on the left side, that would be great. Or we'll add highlights with white at the end. Time to paint the bird. Male goldfinch are a brilliant yellow with a black cap, wings, and tail. Start by painting the whole bird yellow. Now the bottom of the stomach needs a little shading, pretty much the middle right side in the bottom, and you can add that with some of the same colors as you used in the flower centers. The brown, orange, black, or any combination of those. I'm not very happy with my shading, but I'll play with it in a minute. Add a hint of the black wings on either side. The tail is black, but I'm just making the outer feather dark black, and I'll make the inner feathers a lighter watery black. The head and the eye are both black. If you can leave a thin white line between the eye and the black, it's great, but if not, let it dry and a white gel pen can draw that tiny bit of white line easily. The beak is orange and you want it lighter on top. Now the line between the top and the bottom beak, if you can turn it up at the end just a tiny bit, it gives a hint of a smile and it'll make your bird look happy. I played with my shading some more and it's still not working well. Some days are like that. When something gives you problems, move on. Finish more of the painting before you work on them again. Taking a break can really help when you're having problem areas. Last, I'm using some opaque white to add highlights where the sun would be hitting. Is it okay to use white in watercolor? Is that cheating? This came up in a comment last week. I just point out that all of the old masters had white as a normal part of their watercolor palette, including John Singer Sargent, Turner, Winslow Homer, etc. Whether you use white or not is up to you, but make your own decision. Your art is unique, and your choices will help create your own style. Goldfinch also have a tiny bit of black on the top of their beak on the end, but be careful it doesn't stand out too much. Don't forget to add the bird's feet clutching the top of the flower. Okay, I thought I would be done, but when I evaluate my painting, my goldfinch is fading into the background. While the green looked dark enough against the white paper, it looks wimpy against the finished bird and flowers. I'm going to give it another coat. I'm re-wetting, painting on more green, and just touching in a little yellow so it's not so solid looking. I'm going to go over the shading one more time and see if I can't smooth it out. That's not bad. Remember, if something in your painting gives you fits, just leave it and keep going. Coming back to a problem area later is often the best solution, and it's much easier on your nerves. This is another tutorial that would look beautiful as a card. So visit Watson Watercolor today for the outline and get painting. Happy painting!